What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on this Tupac trial and everything like surrounding Tupac, right? To me, this whole situation is, I mean, it's all for show. I already, Tupac was assassinated years and years ago, probably almost 30 years ago now, right? 20 something years, close to 30 years ago, right? And I always thought, even from the very beginning, that, like they knew who did it. I think that it was all, it was all a setup, it was all orchestrated. In my opinion, I think it just was orchestrated, right? But more importantly to me is the fact that when you get into, sometimes these you get into show business and in the entertainment industry, and you get to dealing with these unscrupulous characters and dark forces and things like that, and you're somebody who is young and like Tupac was, right? And although he was very intelligent, he was no match in my opinion for the people and the forces that he was dealing with. He just was no match for them. And so I think they used the fact that he was very intelligent, very passionate about certain things, and they just used that and just put him into a situation where they just escalated a volatile situation, and it led to his demise, him and Biggie Small's demise, right? And so I was listening to a podcast. What's this guy? Well, I was watching a podcast of Black Balloon, and he basically, in my opinion, just echoed a lot of the things that I feel about this Tupac situation. I just think it's basically all for show, right? And so here it is, years after he passed, and his mother has passed. You had Biggie Smalls pass. Biggie Smalls' mother has passed also, and so now all of a sudden, they found, all this information, and they trying to make it seem like justice will be served when, like I said, it's just a big show. So listen to this audio, and then I'm gonna come back and give my input.
Going on with y'all, man? We back with another video. Y'all already know what's going on. So I pretty much had in mind that we were gonna revisit the topic about Tupac, right? Especially when they started to pick the jurors for the Keefe D trial. Now, find it to be pretty interesting, right? What we have here is a full-blown trial for Keefe D, the alleged guy responsible for the death of Tupac, you know, the person who I think would really be responsible if we want to stick with their narrative would be his nephew, Baby Lane Anderson, who was killed shortly after the death of Tupac, right? So basically,
And like I said, I even think it's all orchestrated, right? Um, Baby Lane was like you said was killed shortly after that, and I just think they want people to think that there's just so many different moving parts and so many different ways it could have happened that people don't really know what to think. But I just think that it was just, I don't think it was any of the gang members personally. I just think it was some forces high up that played a part in this, right? Because where it happened at in Las Vegas, plenty of witnesses, plenty of cameras, and a lot of police and stuff frequent those areas and stuff like that. So I don't think that anybody in their right mind would have attempted something like that if it wasn't sanctioned.
what we have here, y'all, and I'm just straight out said. I mean, it's a trial for nothing. It's just a trial to keep the story going. Uh, Basically, we have a lifetime contract with the story of Tupac. Like we, I'm talking about us, like the people. We have a lifetime contract with his story, a story that was fabricated and um, set up from the jump. A story that was never real. Uh it was all an act. It was all a persona. Tupac. You know what I'm saying? The one eye symbolism all the way back to all eyes on me. And so y'all know in this video we'll be here to basically, talk about the psyop of Tupac. What happened.
And that, see, that's another part of it, right? Some people even say that Tupac was also a part of a secret society, right? And so um you know and so maybe he was a part of a secret society and he fell out with them, and certain things he wouldn't do, he wouldn't comply, and they just wanted, they had to make him a sacrifice, who knows. But either way, like, I think it's, in my opinion, I just think it's a waste of time for people to invest in trying to figure out who really did it. You have some podcasters are really trying to figure out, you know sometimes they think Suge did it, sometimes they think the other guy Reggie did it, sometimes they think it was done by the police. Who knows? But like I said, it would not have happened in that at that time and at that area if it wasn't sanctioned by some people with some real pull and some real authority.
In Vegas stays in Vegas, literally, right? It's quite insane. So, as we know, this is Keefe D right here. And he is the man who is standing trial for the death of Tupac Shakur in 1996. He's pleaded not guilty to the murder charges, and he's also placed himself at the scene multiple times throughout interviews with Vlad TV. I mean, literally, Vlad TV asked him questions as.
And you know what I think happened? Like, this guy Keefe D, probably, I don't think he did it, right? But I do think that he is he tried to capitalize off of it, putting himself at the scene of the crime, going and doing interviews and stuff like that. And now, so it's a situation now where they can say, they can use him as a scapegoat, and basically what they're going to do is use all his statements against him. You know, he, basically they're going to use him to convict him. And so I know he regret giving all those interviews and talking about it the way he did. I would have, and most people is just saying it makes sense to like stay far away from this, especially if if you had some type of idea that this was orchestrated by people higher up, right? If this was orchestrated by people higher up, then you don't know what their plans are as far as who they're going to, blame it on or anything like that. So you definitely want to stay far away from this type of situation. Don't even want to talk about it. Um, you know, but he put himself right in the middle of the situation.
If he was a detective, which we all already kind of know what's going on there. But I'm going to play out some of those clips. Vlad is literally asking questions like a detective, and this guy answered every last one of them, right? So his real name is Dwayne Davis, who goes by the nickname Keefe D, wrote a tell-all book in 2019, laying out his role in the fatal shooting of hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur. Now that's how you know this shit is fake from the jump. The man wrote a tell-all book about his role in the fatal shooting of, you know, hip hop legend Tupac in 1996, and he just now going to trial for it in 2026. We're talking about 30 years later. The book was called Compton Street Legend. Opens in Las Vegas on the night of September 7th, 1996, with the play-by-play account of his plan to confront Tupac and Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight in retaliation for an earlier fight, where basically.
Yeah, see that, and that's the same thing I think about this guy Keefe D. Right? I just think that he saw an opportunity to make some money, and I do think that the police did bring him in earlier for for an interview around that time, right? Knowing that he didn't do it, but I just think that that was just for just the looks of things, right? And so when they bring him in, he he couldn't tell him nothing, probably because he didn't know anything, right? But now he tried to capitalize on it, take advantage of it, make it seem like he had something to do with it. And he probably thinking in the back of his mind, well, the police know I didn't do it. The public don't know I didn't do it. So let me go ahead and try to capitalize on it. And over all this time, he writing books, he's giving interviews, he's answering questions in a way that makes him look like he had something to do with it. If not, he was a conspirator or took some type of a part in it. So, now, they're going to use him and probably is going to get convicted just because, he tried to capitalize on the situation and he wanted to make it seem like he knew what really happened. But I do think he was probably intelligent enough to know that some higher ups did it. He probably just didn't think that they would make him the scapegoat for this situation. So that's my take on it, man. I just think, like I said at the beginning, I just think that this whole trial is all for nothing. It just shows you how ruthless the entertainment business can be. They got rid of Tupac, they got rid of Biggie, and now they're going to convict this guy. Um, and it just seemed like nobody connected with either one of these guys, Tupac or Biggie, was able to prosper and have anything in the long run. You got Suge is in prison. What's the other guy? Puff Daddy is in prison. So they just tore everything down. They just tore everything down behind this whole conspiracy, man. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm gonna check you all out in the next video. Peace.